What's up, Gun Freak Nation? Action Jackson, I'm waiting on you, brother. We doing this through YouTube. Action Jackson, where you at, baby? I can't hear you. Wait a minute, hold on. Oh, there we go. Hey, baby, how we looking? Hey.
How you
Hey,
doing?
am I sideways, brother? Am
Yeah,
I
you
sideways?
sideways, my man. Yeah, you sideways. What's going on, Doc?
I am. Well, you know what? I'm sideways. I mean, you sideways. But hold
Am I?
on. Let me. Who sideways?
I
Yeah.
am. Let me do
Yeah.
something.
Okay,
Hold on,
you
hold on, hold on.
sideways. There
There
you
we go.
go.
Are we
There you
talking
go.
now?
Am I
Okay.
still sideways?
No, we both straight, brother.
Okay, let me hold on. Action Jackson.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. This is such a pleasure. You know, I had been wanting to get you. We had been in discussions of this for quite some time, brother. So, I'm trying to get this stand set up so I don't need the phone to be all falling and stuff, man, because what we about to touch on right now, what we about to touch on tonight is deep, man, and it needs to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? It really do needs to be addressed because these savages out here ain't no joke. You feel me? It's crazy out here, brother. It's crazy. So, we got how many people we got up in here? We got 29 people
Okay.
up in here right now to hear your truth, to hear your story, Action Jackson. So you know what? Let's get this started right now. Let me say this right now. Um,
Okay.
I just feel like right now, brother, and salute to Gun Freak Nation, salute to everybody that's in here, that's partaking in this podcast, and this is dope. I'm not even doing this through use what's it Ustream or whatever. I'm not doing it through the usual podcast. I'm doing it through YouTube. So
Right.
this is
Right.
dope. We got to do this more often. um I just want to say thank you for coming and joining the podcast. Like I said, this had been up for discussion, many months ago. Probably
Right.
around the
Right.
time my channel got hacked. You know what I'm saying? We was talking about doing this together, and I'm glad that we was able to pull it together. And it's crazy. We live in perilous, crazy times. It's a wicked world. These savages are out here, and brother, you are some of the stuff that you hit me with and told me. I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even surprised. Especially here in
Right.
the
Right.
deep.
Right.
I'm not even
Right. Right.
surprised. But give Gun Freak Nation. I know you don't told me. So give
Right.
Gun Freak Nation, Action Jackson, a little bit background, a little bit of your history, dealing with these funky ass savages that's out here.
Let me say it to you like this. I'm gonna touch on it, but I'm gonna do it in a discreet way because some things are still, you know, how we deal
Right,
with. But
right.
I'll say it like this. I used to work at one of the hospitals doing police authority, and let me tell you something. I saw death every day.
Oh,
Death on the point of you could be on your post and you just sitting there chilling. You always gotta be aware. You got all your tools with you. As you want to say, Funky Townsend, but all your tools with you, and all of a sudden you hear a car screech, and this happened on the post, and these young boys jump out, and they drop this guy on the ground. So I go up to investigate, and I look down. This brother got a bullet hole through his head, in and out, and they run around
dang.
screaming. And you know what I'm saying? And to see something like that, and you can't panic, you'll handle your business. You call the nurses, you get the nurses, and then you pull the nurses out. The nurses come and they grab this guy, and I look at him, I say, oh, he dead. And they still doing CPR. But at the point of, this is an everyday thing, and I want to say to Gun Freak Nation that we must, we should protect ourselves first and foremost. and there should be nobody to take our rights away to say that we can't protect ourselves.
Right.
We have people out here that are telling the public. See, what it is a narrative is being played, and the narrative is being pushed around that, I could tell you how you live in your neighborhood, but you don't live in my neighborhood. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And you
Right.
can run around here and talk all this stuff and say what you want to say and living in this pipe dream. But if you ain't never been down to, as you would call it, a savage area, how the hell you gonna tell me about where I live at and the reality of it? See, the narrative that's played out on the news is that um, they put all the gun folks all into one big bundle, and they put them all in there and said they're all bad people. Well, here's
Right.
the thing.
Exactly.
Here's the
Right.
thing. What gets me, the so-called powers to be will say that, well, we need to have more gun control. There is no such thing, people. If you have a savage, and this is what they don't tell people that don't know no better, and this is why my thing is to educate. You have people that are not educated about your laws, about how things are, how they go about getting a firearm or this nature, things like that. And so, with that being said, if you tell somebody something on the news, they're gonna believe it. So if you tell somebody such and such came with assault rifle and killed all these people, I like to use 19. I'm bouncing around. I like to use 1997 North Hollywood when the assault weapons ban was on.
Yeah.
And remember them guys that robbed the Bank of America in North Hollywood. And here's the thing: the assault weapons ban was on, but it did nothing at all. And
Right.
then you want to
Right.
tell me that this so-called thing that you got, and they had full automatic. What happened was that bottom line is the police was outgunned. The police
Yeah.
had to go to a gun store
I
to
remember
get
when that went
armed.
down,
To
Jackson
right,
Jackson,
remember that?
the North Hollywood bank shootout when they
Right,
came in there, body armored up from their
right,
ankles all the way to their neck, and they
right.
had full automatic AK-47s, AR-15s. The police they didn't stand a chance. Like you said, they had to
Couldn't
run to
hang with it.
local gun shops just to get armed to be able
Couldn't
to,
hang with it.
yeah. I remember when that went
Right.
down.
Right. So here it is, your so-called gun protection, verbally written law put in the whatever, didn't do nothing.
Right.
But see, here it is again. But see, people, as society, we're so brainwashed, and we forget about uh, different things. We forget about. Let me mention. See, watch this. Malice Green. We forget
Yeah.
about, and that was a different scenario. But
Yeah.
but but here's the thing: we forget about these different names of things that have occurred, and we get stuck on the current events. And people that don't know no better, that don't live in the inner city, will believe what the news is saying. The bottom
Right.
line is that if you are in the inner city, and any one of us that has had some type of brush or feel of these things that have occurred, and then is going to know. But a suburbanite person who doesn't know will give you a narrative of what it should be. But I would say this to people, and I would educate people to say, take a walk in one of our shoes that has seen these things happen, that's seen these people, where you got bodies dropped at your feet, when you seeing gunshot victims, what at the facility I was working at the time, and you
Right.
seeing all these things happen, and then you trying to tell me about some gun control. All of 85% of these things that I saw were people that were convicted felons. They had no way to even go to a gun store to buy a gun. So
Right.
you want to roll up in here and say that the narrative is that, oh, when the news play these things, they'll say, and God rest his soul, the Detroit police officer that was killed by the Savage with the AK-47
Oh yeah,
pistol.
yeah.
Remember
Officer
that?
Officer
Yeah.
Lauren Coates. Officer
Thank you, sir.
Lauren Coates. That happened right up the
So
street from me.
right.
That
So here
happened
so
right
here
up
it
the
is.
street from me.
So here it is. The narrative is played. When the news played the story, they said, and he purchased a gun, and then they cut the broadcast off, and then they pushed it away. And then it's like, oh, and then people started to think, and they started to use their own imagination. Well, he went and bought at a gun store. No, it was a straw man purchase, which
Yeah.
means that the idiot friend of his bought the gun legally because he had he was able to buy it, and he bought the gun for him and gave it to this guy who was already mentally ill and went and did what he did. So
Right.
now this particular gun store that I know the owners, they no longer sell that kind of
Draco.
AK style the Draco pistols now. You won't see it on their shelves because of that has happened. But
Right.
again, it does not matter. These people are going to get these things. I've had other situations, like I say, on that same particular job. I'm going to lead up to what we talked about later. But the same particular job where, again, you're on a post, you're at the trauma door, car roll up, and shot full of bullet holes. And you got to go in, either grab these people out because they wounded or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you open these vehicles up. You got a Drake. I had one in one case. It was a Draco sitting there with full magazine. It was
Wow.
a extended magazine Glock there. I mean, the whole vehicle was full of bullet holes and
Wow.
full of firearms. But again, people want to say, that these are your permit holder, law-abiding citizens that are running and doing this stuff. And I'm telling you, 85 to 90% of stuff that I saw, these are people that had no right to even have a firearm because of their background.
Yeah, they
But
was
see,
already. Yeah.
these are the things, that the stories that they not telling you because they're making their own narrative. People, there's a brainwashing effect going on. People, you need to listen. First of all, let me back up. T Electric, man, God bless you. You're doing what you're doing. You preaching to these people out here, and you give them the good word. Do not judge this man on how he delivered his message. Don't do that. Listen to what he says. He's giving you the reality of what is happening out here. See, a savage is not going to sit here, be all nice and pretty. Oh, hello, sir. I'm coming to rob you. He ain't gonna be polite with you. He gonna come in here and put a hole in your monkey behind, and then go laugh at you when they go home when they did what they did. But see,
Right.
you all have to, be careful because this is reality, people. This is reality. Some of us have voted for this Democratic president who is totally anti-gun.
Yes.
And the thing of it is, if you look at your history, see, we need to look at the history of what he said. Years ago, he said that he would not put his children in a school with black children. Okay, that's one thing. And then he also certain remarks and things that he has said. But see, we voted for this guy. Some of your permit holders have voted for this guy, and he don't care nothing about you. See, there's a thing of when you are in
Fact.
power, you're supposed to take care of the people, And now we're in a situation where we don't do our research, we brainwash, we don't look at different things that we should look at in order for us to get knowledgeable about some things. And the thing
Right.
of it is that people do your homework. I mean, I'm not going out here running around hurting nobody. I'm a peaceful person. But when
Right.
you come along and you try to do something to alter that, then we have a problem. And going into what I was saying to you before, had a particular family member that had a situation. And what had transpired was that the idiots thought they were going to run into the dwelling and do great bodily harm to this person. But what was nice about that situation was that the person that I love dearly and know, I have many different friends and so forth, uh, was ready for him,
Yeah.
and they was about to be sent to Funky Town. And T, let me tell you something. When you say Funky Town, I know what you talk about. You saying it's send their ass to the morgue. You saying send them down to a place where it's stanky. And trust me, people, I've been in the morgue, been in and out of it. It stank. So yeah, it is Funky Town. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying. But like I say, this particular situation, because the family member was trained, uh, ran him up out of there. And I'll just say that much about it.
Right.
But had the situation not been like that, the family member probably would have wound up dead.
Yeah.
Due
Yeah.
to, and they were ready. They were ready to put some holes in some stuff,
Right.
and
Thank
it didn't get to
God
them.
the person was savage, ready, and knew what to
Yes,
do, and was
yeah,
ready to take care of business. Thank
yes,
God.
yeah. So that in itself, uh, we have to train people, and it starts here in the mind. You have to train people to give people the knowledge of wisdom and understanding of what is training. Just because you get a firearm don't mean you know how to use it. When you
Right.
get your firearm, get your training with it. Get your training with it. Get everything you need, to encompass what you need to do with this thing. And yes, you may have a little bit of fear of it, but so the hell what? go through it, because the thing of it is, it's going to be a fearful situation when you go through that situation, and you don't have no firearm, and you don't have to protect your behind because you went up in here and you said, well, I'm anti-gun. See, most of this is what I found out, T. Most of your anti-gun people are afraid. They're afraid of firearms because they've never had any training or understanding of the operation of a firearm. So when you have that, and then you have the narrative that's placed in the media, then that it makes it even stronger, and so they have an anti-gun situation. Another thing I had happen when I was a child, went to a school in T, you probably remember. There was a school called Precious Blood. It was on the west side of Detroit. Remember that school? It was a private school by the Mercury Theater,
Okay.
called Precious
I,
Blood. And
I remember that. I remember
remember
that.
that? This was
Yep.
in the
That's
80s. And let me
Mercury
tell you what,
right,
this is why I brought.
right there on Schaefer
Yes,
off of 6 Mile. Yeah.
yes, yes. Well, I'm gonna tell you my anti-gun story. I got many of them, but I can share so much that I understand. But I was probably in the seventh grade, and there was a young girl by the name of Kelly Crittenton. We would get ready to go on Easter break, and this young girl came down to our class. Her boyfriend was sitting next to me in the class, and she turned around. She smiled at him. That was the last time I saw her alive. She went
Oh,
down the hallway. We had a student that brought a gun to school because he was afraid of some savages after school. And like I said, we in eighth grade.
right.
And I heard the shots go off, and Kelly was dead. And let me tell you something.
Dang.
What this is now, this is the anti-gun thing, right?
Okay.
This is what it did to me for years. This is what it did to me for years. It made me not want to touch a gun. I kept hearing the sound of the gun going off. I went to this girl's viewing, and it was horrible. What but see, this is what happens to some people. They go through a traumatic experience, and they become anti-gun. Well, let me
Yeah.
tell you, let's go forward to the future. Watch this, watch this. I had a situation in my 20s, right around the time, no, well, late 20s, where uh, I was my ex at the time, my sister-in-law boyfriend acted a fool, right? Acted a complete nut, and wanted commenced to beat on her. So I just told him to stop, didn't put lay on no hands on him or nothing. He turned around, dropped me to the ground. When I got up, I whooped his ass. So, okay, now watch this, watch this. So he left, right? He left the dwelling.
Right.
He come back. We called the police, everything. Nobody showed up. He came back an hour later, armed with a firearm, ready to come through that door to blow my brains out. And I had
One
nothing.
second. One second. One second.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
said you called the police. No
Yes.
one. They didn't show up.
They did not show up. Because to them, I mean, and I can't read their minds or anything like that. And again, please, people, understand. I hate no law enforcement, but
Right.
it's just that you have some people that are sloppy at the jobs they do in any profession. And so what you have is that you have somebody that said, "Oh, this is a domestic violence call because it was a guy trying to jump on a girl, and then he jumped on this other guy. We want to deal with it." So hour go by, this clown come back trying to re-enter. We called and called and called and called the police of this city, and they never showed up. And this guy ended up trying to come through the dwelling to do great bodily harm to me. Well, I'll say about 3 hours later, these clowns finally show up. And so what happens was they show up, he then ran off and ran down the street or wherever and so forth. And so, now not now you want to get angry at us for calling you, and we tell you what happened, and you want to get mouthy with us. That's a
Right.
sad thing to do when you're in a position like that of any law enforcement. And no, it's not an easy job. Trust
Right.
me, I understand it.
Right.
But that was the breaking point for me to change my mind to go ahead, and that's when I applied for my license to carry. And so that was probably 2001, 2002 when they started to change it so everybody can be able to carry it. So that's what changed that for me. Lo and behold, 8 months later, this guy who had jumped on me and then try to pull a gun on me ended up dying, being chased from the police from a drug house and hit a tree at 80 miles an hour, was dead on the scene. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword, per se. You
One
know what I'm
less
saying?
savage. on the streets. One
Right.
less death.
So right. So here we are. Here we are updated, and that's what changed my mind. So a
Okay.
lot of times people that are anti-gun, there's two ignorant things. There's two things that's going on. Either they've never ever had a situation they fantasize about, and they listen to what the media say, and then they go around and believe all this dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or they turn around and they have been scared from a situation of
Right.
that has occurred in their life. So we call that in the military PTSD. And so just don't think you have to be in the military to have PTSD. You can have
Right.
from any traumatic experience. So that's why my thing is to educate people on not being anti-gun, but so we can have a choice
Right.
to
Right.
do what we need to do. You know what I'm
I
saying? And,
agree.
and to go ahead and don't knock a person or go against them because they decide to have a choice to protect themselves. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If you so choose to, but all I'm saying to you is that you should have a choice to
Yeah.
want to do that, and then don't knock me for the choices that I have made, or any one of us. And I say, T, to all the people out here, Gun Free Nation, training is the key. Training
Yeah.
is the key. Get your training. Now go back and say it again. Get your training. Learn how to use your firearm. Not only that, learn how to clean it. See, you have a lot of these people don't know how to clean it, and what transpires is you go to the range and then you go ahead and pull the trigger, and it don't go off because whatever reason. But say
Right.
that were to happen in a situation, not what? You hit, you dead, you
Yeah.
gone because you didn't go ahead and I'll have my boyfriend clean my gun. No, you should. I find this to be with a lot of women. No knocking to the women of Gun Freak Nation. Please understand. But it seems to be a narrative also with this thing that they don't want to clean it. Learn how to break this thing down. Learn how to break. I know some women that know how to break a Glock down in the dark and put it back together. You
Right.
know, and so learn how to
Amen.
do that because this is your tool, as you say, T. This your funky town sender, and it must be operational.
It's got
You
to
know,
be.
you can't have no half behind done stuff. I'm being nice because my daughter over here, but you can't have no. It must work. And y'all get some quality stuff. Okay, T done talked about it before about the high point. T done talked about the Taurus. If you go get a cheap gun because you don't have the money, at least buy a Taurus, at least buy a high point. And if you do use a high point, what I found out is use Remington ammo. It will run a lot smoother through a high point. That's been my self experience.
Oh
Um,
wow, this is a first. You dropping the jewels on
yeah,
us today.
yeah. I've experienced a lot of different things. Got a lot of stories. I can't share them all.
Okay.
But I just seen people take their last breath, man. I just seen people. Uh, 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 I just seen one guy. I shouldn't talk about that one, but I just seen a lot. I watch guys shoot himself. You know,
Oh,
uh, being on the
that's got
job.
to be the worst.
And
That's got
yeah,
to be the
and
worst.
yeah. Well, when you hear it go off, and it's like what it was is we. Long story short, here we go. Um, this guy was these two guys was smoking weed or whatever. And if you know where the particular hospital's at, they did a whole 360 around the block to go to the hospital. Well, what happened was he had shot himself the first time because it was high. And so instead of just riding down the street southbound and going up the street into the emergency, you could it would have been a lot smoother. So anyway, I was following them in while I was on the job, and they pulled up on the trauma door. And when the one savage got out and ran back to the vehicle, uh, my man shot himself again and put two
What?
more holes through him, and because he was hot and didn't have any reason or all to even have the firearm, nor was it even his vehicle.
Right.
And again, these are things of people that we deal with out here. And there's some things going on. And the bottom line is that uh, that could have discharged and hit somebody else, you
Right.
know.
So he
And,
was
and, and
that high, hopped up off some drugs, that he
Yeah.
took it upon himself to shoot himself.
Right. Right. Right.
That's
Right.
crazy.
Right. Right.
That's
So
crazy. Wow.
it's here's the world we live in. Here's the world we live
Yeah.
in, and I also want to say to the people out here that are people of God, um, don't think that God doesn't want you to protect yourself. And Ti, you've heard me use this before. The text to you, I believe it's in Luke 23. He talks about to sell your cloak to buy a sword,
Yeah.
and here we are. So-called. You have a lot of pastors and so forth. They won't touch on this and talk about it. And we also have to look at also God's a God of wrath too. God has killed people, taken people out. And so if we are made in the image and likeness of him, we're going to have some of those attributes if the time and season come for that.
Yeah.
So but see, a lot of your so-called people don't want to touch on that
Yeah.
because it's a sensitive situation. But I mean, heck, man, if Peter had cut the centurion's ear off with a sword, the disciples were packing. They were
Right.
packing swords.
Right.
So we need to read and get wisdom under knowledge and understanding of many things, and so, but there's been a lot of movement with some Christian people or children of God that seem to push this agenda that you can't protect yourself, and that's a lie.
That's a
That's a
lie.
lie.
A
You
red
know,
face lie.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at David. Look at David. He killed Goliath and he went after the rest of them big boys. And all these different things. But we have to look at the truth on many different levels. And that's the thing. We've been so I'm trying to look at the word for it. We've been so brainwashed into so many different things. J.
Right.
Edgar Hoover, J. Edgar Hoover said something many years ago. He said that I will make the black people, and I had to go with the race. I got to say it, but he said I'll make. He said, well, no, excuse me. He said I'll make niggas. In paraphrase, that's what he meant, but I'll just say it like that. He'll make niggas vote Democrat for 100 years, and if you don't, uh, like I say, don't take my word for it. Look it up.
It's the truth. You speak the
These things
facts.
are here, and the thing of it is that you have to fully understand the mindset. Why is that? Like I said, the things I'm saying, research come behind it,
Man, you coming,
because
brother. You come.
there's some things on
We
there
hey,
that
night.
we have to
We
look
hey,
at, so here we are. We done voted for certain people and all this stuff, and then we wonder why these clowns trying to take your rights away. You know what I'm saying? And it's a mindset, that has come about. And we have to be ever so careful in our doing. You know what I'm saying? It's deep, man. It's deep. I mean, each and every person out here on this podcast right now, um, much love to you. Please be safe. Be safe.
right.
T, be safe.
I love
It's a
all
lot of
81 of y'all that's in this
yeah,
room that's
yeah,
vibing with us, Gun Freak Nation. We so many of us, like you said, like you touched on earlier, brother, so many of us have just been indoctrinated. And they just, I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah,
just so you need to exercise your Second Amendment rights. You gotta overcome your fear, the anxiety. So I get it. Some people
right,
just
right,
don't
right,
like firearms, guns, because they're associated with negativity because of how the media, it's like an agenda. It's a storyline. It's their agenda. It's their narrative, and I just don't understand the logic of it. But for some crazy reason, they think that if they get rid of all of the guns and make it harder for us to buy guns, or come up with all these gun control bills, it'll make the world a safer, better place, and that's not true.
right,
Having
right, right,
righteous
right.
people armed will make the world a safer place. I mean, we got millionaires like the. I want to touch on the. I keep forgetting his name, but the guy that created Cash App. He got stabbed to death a couple of days ago. And from
Right,
my
right,
understanding, he was kind of, I really don't know. One of my Gun Freak Nation members, relayed the information to me that he was kind of uh, gun control, gun control,
right, right, right,
but
right.
he got stabbed to death And I saw on the news, man, where he was just stumbling and trying, begging people for help, knocking on people's doors, business, knocking on, trying to get help. And he finally collapsed. And I'm like, you know what would
Right.
have made a difference? Maybe, matter of fact, I know this would have made a difference. If he would have been armed, more than likely he would still be here now. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody in the vicinity of when that attack happened would have been armed and intervened, he would more than likely be here now. So nobody can't tell me, you know what you need guns for. And don't have multiple guns. They really gonna think you crazy. You know what I'm saying? They really
Yeah.
gonna think you crazy if you got multiple guns like me. But I really don't give a shit what another think about me, their opinion.
Right.
I
Right.
just
Right.
don't care. I'm too old to freaking care. You know what I'm saying? But you need the only way I'll say it again. The only way these savages is can be stopped. You got to be armed up because they armed themselves. They got
Right. Right.
AR-15s. They got
Right.
AK-47.
Right.
So, like I
Right.
said many times before, if they got it, I want it too. I
Right.
want
Right.
something better than what they got. But
Right.
we got these home invasions that's taking place, and look at the savage that raped the 80-year-old woman a couple of weeks ago, and then he raped a 65-year-old woman like a week ago.
Yeah.
And thank God they got him off the street, and I hope they kick his ass in jail. He did it, but
Yeah.
we just living in crazy times, and I just don't
Mm-hmm.
understand all this gun control bullshit. That's all it is. They lumping, like you said earlier, they're lumping everybody together, like guilty by
Mm-hmm.
association. They think of us no more than the true criminals that's out there on the street. They lumping us all together. That's the way it is. Gun control don't hurt the criminal. It don't hurt
No.
the savage. It only
No.
hurt the law-abiding citizens. They trying to restrict us, and it's all
Right.
bullshit
Right.
at the end of the day, brother. I mean, it's
True.
it's
True words.
it's
True words,
ridiculous.
T. True
It's
words. But yeah. But you have to understand it. And you said something some months ago. Here it is. You have these people in power that they'll have guns to protect them, but they don't want you to have them.
Thank you.
And you said it, and I totally understand that and agree with that. That so what does that mean? They don't care about you. If
Exactly.
you on the ground level, like and I think T, you said it. A king and a peasant. We down here with the peasant world, and
Right.
you go and you just scratch it to survive, and they up in these, like you say, like these palaces and high places
Yeah.
that
They in the
to do
ivory
what you want to
towers,
do.
brother. They up in the
Yeah,
ivory towers looking down on
yeah,
us and trying to think for us what they know what's best for us. That's the mentality that they
right.
have. They think they know what's best for us, but at the same time, they're not living in our reality. They
No,
may be in
no.
communities, gated communities. They may have security detail. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way that they can relate to our reality, but they push their agenda off on us,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
guess they want. I mean, I think they got multiple agendas. They would like to disarm us. That's what I really think the ultimate goal is.
yeah.
Ultimate goal for their agenda is to disarm us because they want control. It's a key thing. You got gun control, but you take away the guns, and you got
Right.
control. You got
Yeah,
control. Exactly.
and that's scary. That's a scary situation, man. Like I say, there's too many things going on, and a lot of us look at the hood news, but we don't look at the world news. And the world news will tell you so much more about. See, we like I look at the stuff that's happening with Ukraine, and we got to look at the little wars and stuff they having over here. And here in America, people don't think that stuff will come on this soil, you
Right.
know. And then when it comes on this soil, how you gonna be ready for it? It's a lot of people live in a I call it a shoebox world. They're hitting all four corners, but they don't come out on the outside to pop the top off to see what the hell is going on, you
Right.
know. And so that there's a bigger world outside your shoebox, and you have to really, really understand that there's a lot more going on, and the main thing is, T, we have to just continue to educate people, and to understand that we are not people that are running around here doing these savage things,
Yeah.
and it's always that narrative. It's always that narrative. When my father was alive, uh, and his soul is resting, I can say that, but
Rest in peace.
they call him a gun nut, and he was old school. Gotta have a shotgun, gotta have this, gotta have that. But again, he never went out and hurt nobody. No, he was a deer hunter. He enjoyed sport shooting. He enjoyed hunting. He enjoyed all these different things. And so there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But you have people that will judge, and then you have these, if you remember, the PETA people will come along. Oh, you didn't kill the animal, but then the same people go and turn around and have a hamburger. I mean, come on. Come on. You did. It's gotta be. It's gonna be processed one way or another. Either you go process to meet yourself,
Right.
or either
I
you go
get it.
pay all this crazy money to go ahead.
Right.
And it's always somebody running up here, and so you have these hypocritical people, that will eat me, and they'll turn around and want to knock it. Right now in Michigan, I think I read an article where they said I think you could actually hunt 365 days a year here now because of the population of deer is so high, and
Yeah.
then people are getting in car accidents, insurance rates is going up just because of that. But that's stuff they're not really talking about. But I saw an article on that just the other day. 365 days now you can hunt deer. That's what I saw, and I believe it to be true. I haven't researched it. One thing I want to say to Gun Freak Nation, um, we all we're all learning. We're all learning different things, and this forum is so perfect for the wealth of information,
Yes.
and this is how we grow. This is how we learn. This is how we go. I'm sure there's somebody on here that may be scratching their head about some things or looking at this or looking at that. But this forum is so helpful, to even tell the other brothers, what was it? Was it Johnny Snow?
Yeah.
Johnny
Johnny
Snow,
Snow.
brothers like that. Shout out to
Yeah.
him. And then also my man, he came up to your house the other day, Alert Zone.
Yeah. James
Alert
Walker.
Zone. Yeah,
James
I
Walker.
mean, people like that continuously educate, and then I have learned some things from each and every one of you all, because there's some things sometimes, we can misquote some things, or we can be off on a little something, and old boy from what's the name had told me, about some different things, and I said thank you for educating, because I just didn't know. I don't know everything, you know.
Right.
But hear how
Right.
we come together, get educated, and we have an understanding that this is a community that just wants to be safe. That's it.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
want to be safe, man. I mean, it ain't no other way. I mean, yeah, you can get all excited and lick your gun in the barrel, and polish it up, or whatever it is that you like, and get excited over it. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of candy out here. There's a
Yeah.
lot of candy. If you
Yeah.
like Glock, you like Sig,
Right.
you like Smith, there's a lot of candy. And let me tell you something else they do. You got all these different versions of Glock and all these different things. What they doing now, they putting these red dots on. So everybody getting excited. Ooh, okay, get excited about that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But always remember how to shoot from an
Yeah.
iron sight, because
Right.
that's basic. If your red dot go out, you still gonna need to use an iron sight.
Yeah. You right.
So utilize, get the basic stuff. My grandfather gave me a BB gun, and people laugh at that. But with a BB gun, it was a 22. It had power behind it. I could shoot through squirrels. It kill them. But the bottom line is that you learned your sight alignment. You
Yeah.
learn how to your focus point and your sight alignment. I would put up a pin like this in my yard, way out, and I would split it. I would put it out till I would hit it and learn how to hit that pin,
Right.
from 50 feet away, and split it. Boom, and these are things that the basic stuff that people need. So, for when you get in the situation, then it's gonna be muscle memory. It's just like
Yeah.
with martial arts.
Right.
You don't have to think about it no more. You just gotta go to town and do what you gotta do. Training is so important. It's
Yeah.
so important, people. It's so important. If anybody is new coming into this thing, get your training. Get with somebody who knows what the hell they doing, man.
Yeah.
Don't get nobody that just talk a good game, and be like Barney Fife and blowing holes in walls and every which way. You don't need that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Get somebody know what they doing,
You know what they
and
doing.
and
You got
grow.
to
You
be
know,
well
grow with this thing.
trained. Exactly. You have
Yeah,
to be well trained, and you have to
yeah,
be mentally prepared to drop that hammer. If that savage, put a home
right.
invasion on you, you got to be trained with your gun, but you also got to be mentally ready to let that hammer, rock, because
Right.
you got to have the mentality that it's either them or you. You don't want it to be you. Like
Yeah.
the case that I told you, in one of my videos about the woman that was violated. The
Yeah.
savage broke in her
Right.
apartment, and
Drug boys.
yeah, and she couldn't
Yeah.
pull the trigger, and he took advantage of that, and the
Hmm.
bastard came back a week later
Okay.
and did it
Okay.
again. He had to move because she didn't have it mentally ready to take somebody's life. And
Right.
she's lucky that he didn't take her life. You
Right.
know, he survived it. He didn't kill her. He just disarmed her. So you can't let that happen, because next time it happened, or if it happened to another female, she might not be so lucky. So you have to look at situations like this. Hey man, it's either you want to live or die. That's what it's coming down to. These
That's real
savages
talk.
that's
Yeah.
that's that's pulling these home invasions, especially in the home invasions. It ain't how it was in the 70s and 80s no
No.
more, when they just wanted to
Cat
beat
burglar.
in the Civil
Yeah.
War.
Yeah.
It's not that they coming in violently. They're coming in to confront you, violently. They have a violent confrontation with you. And they hoping that you're not armed. Because if you notice, all these savages, they never pick a target that they know they're gonna
Yeah.
meet
Right.
resistance. Like the
Right.
savage that in Nashville at that
Yes.
school. She
Yes.
chose that school for a reason, because she cased it and she knew that it didn't have security. She knew it didn't have security. So these savages they not dumb. They not dumb. They
No.
they
No.
they just they want to take advantage of the sheep. They want to take advantage of the weak, you know.
Hmm.
And my
Hmm.
my my
Hmm.
my goal and my mission is, I'm just simply trying to open people's eyes. A lot of people are just oblivious, and they don't know any better.
They
Especially
don't.
if you ain't never been in a situation where you lived in a high crime area. Like
True.
I was raised up, and shit. I didn't know no better. I remember I saw my first body. I
Yeah.
probably was about 5 or 6 years old when I first saw my first dead body. My brothers had came and got me and said somebody got killed, and
Hmm.
they the next block over, laying in the alley. And when I went there to see this, I'll never forget it as long as I live. I still remember the outfit he had on, and he had a
Hmm.
mat pulled over his
Hmm.
face. He tried to rob a dice game. They was shooting dice in a garage, and he went in there and tried to rob them, and one of them had a gun, and they shot him in the face.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
I remember as a kid looking at it, I'm like, I don't see no blood. But then it dawned on me later that the reason why it wasn't no blood, because they shot him in the head and in the face, and he had that ski mask. And that was trapping
Yes.
the blood in. But that was the
Yes.
first time I had ever seen a body. And man, it must have been about 15, 20 more growing up in that neighborhood right there on Freeland, off of Finkel, right off of
Oh my goodness.
Midland.
Yeah.
Yeah, right off of Midland and I forget the other side street, but it was right off of Finkel where that Coney Island at, and there's been numerous people killed at that Coney
Okay.
Island over the years. You got
Okay.
Sam's Drug Store. You know what I'm talking about, that area.
Yeah.
It's right by Cooley
Yeah.
High School.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, yeah. So I grew up. So my pops. One thing about my father that I noticed when we were all living together, my mother and both my parents were together for like over 40 years before they
Mm.
passed on. But one thing about my dad, he always kept a shotgun.
That's
he
that's
always
old
kept,
school.
yeah,
That's
he
old school. Yeah.
always
Yeah.
He always had a shotgun. He
Yep.
had a rifle, and he would have sometimes he would have a handgun. But one
Okay.
thing I know consistently that he kept was a shotgun because, like I said, he knew what time it was. I was
Okay.
oblivious to a lot of shit when you were a kid. But looking back on it now, the murders. I mean,
Yeah.
one of our family friends had his head. He was decapitated. He lived
Mm-hmm.
down at the corner house. His nickname was Shorty, and he had a daughter that was on drugs, and he used to try to straighten her up. And one night, um, the daughter showed up with two of her guy friends, and they went in there and they butchered that man. Man,
Mm-hmm.
they butchered him. They decapitated him. And I remember I remember them taking his body out. The news was out there, and I remember going to the funeral, and you can see where they basically sewed his head
Mm-hmm.
back on his
Mm-hmm.
body. You can
Yeah.
see the deep gashes in his fingers from when they were stabbing at him. He trying to block the blows, and it's just cutting deep gashes in his fingers, man. And
That's real
you know,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
That's real
So
stuff.
I've been
Yeah.
through. I've seen a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's what shaped me. Like the first time I remember being sad about a situation, and that was before I saw my first dead body as a kid. Right across the street, not directly across the street from the Mercury. It used to be a
Oh
fish
wow.
shop. Yeah, it used to be a fish shop. And my parents used
My mother used to go there. My mother used to go ahead and get fish from there for years, man.
my
Yeah,
parents
yeah.
used to go there.
With the parrot that was in there.
Yeah, my parents used to go there and take me there with them. It was a guy
Mm-hmm.
in there, and they used to go get their favorite fish. It was catfish. And
Okay.
I used to get some of the fish too. The guy would cook it up right on the spot. It'd
Okay.
be fresh fish, and he would cook it up. And I remember I said, Dad, why we don't go there no more?
Mm-hmm.
He told me, it was like he got robbed. Somebody went up in there, robbed him, and after they got the money, they shot him anyway and killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, man, you got these savages. Even when you comply, even when you give them what they want, that's still not good enough. They don't want just your property or your money. They don't want just your property. They want to take your life. I guess in they dumb sick heads, they don't want to leave a witness or whatever, and they want to just take your life. That's why I say, listen, try your best. Be alert at all times. Watch
Right.
your surroundings. Get the
Right.
fuck off that damn phone,
Right.
especially when you're at these gas stations, these
Right.
Coney Islands. Those are the two main hot spots. At nighttime in the day, you can get
Yeah.
your ass killed quick. I know a person that got carjacked and
Yeah.
killed right there at that gas station on 7 Mile. This happened back like in 2010. They killed him. They were so bold. They were so bold. The two savages were so bold when they confronted him when he was pumping his gas. They wanted the keys. He couldn't find the keys. I don't know what happened, but he didn't give them the keys. So he was like, well, maybe I forgot and left him in the gas station. Them two savages were so bold that they walked him back in the gas station. One of them had a fucking shotgun, this a long ass shotgun
Wow.
to
Wow. That's
his
crazy.
head. You don't remember that when that went down? It was all on the news. And come to
Was
find
that
out, my
Seven in Greenfield?
ex-girlfriend knew the guy. My ex-girlfriend knew the guy. They walked him back in that gas station on 7 Mile. I forget what side
Was it
street.
Greenfield? Was it Greenfield?
I think it was near Greenfield, but it's
Okay.
a gas station on 7 Mile. And they walked him back in into the gas station with the shotgun to the back of his head. And the fucking clerk, excuse my language, the clerk
It's
didn't
okay.
even call the police. Didn't even call the police. He called the police afterwards when they found out, when they couldn't find the keys, they made him lay down outside in the by the gas pump, and they shot him in the back with that shotgun and killed him. They caught their asses, but like I say, if they get the drop on you and you
True.
got a gun, you can have 5 guns on you. If somebody got the drop on you and they got a gun to your head, what can you do?
It's
So
over.
I
Yeah.
say go ahead and give it up and pray that they don't take your life or try to use a distraction to try to get the drop back on them. But if they get the drop on you, give it up because certainly a 99.9% is they'll kill you before they let you in. They will kill you. Now, however, if they try after you don't comply and they trying to take you to another location, you better make your last stand. Right there on, fight for your life,
Right.
run, do something.
Yeah.
Because
Cause
if you let
yeah.
them take you to that second location, that's it. That's it.
And that's real talk.
Yeah.
You have to look at and some of you all like you were saying your experiences. Some people have never experienced when you see somebody they take their last breath, and not only that, the damage a firearm does to the human body.
Yeah.
I just seen the gunshot wounds to the head. I didn't walk up on a guy and he had a bullet hole in his chest where it looked like they hit him with a slug, and I can almost stick my fist in it, and I could
Oh
see.
my.
It was, So what I'm saying, the reason I'm saying this to Gun Freak Nation
Oh.
is
Wait, wait,
because
wait, 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 wait. So what was that at? Was that at the hospital you were
yes,
you
sir,
were
yes, sir, yes,
and
sir.
a guy came in that took a slug to his chest?
He was already gone. He was already gone. But see, the thing of it is that uh, I'm mentioning it because you have people don't have an understanding of the smell of that or what it looks like, and TV not even don't even cut close to what the reality of that is. And one thing about it, when you see something like that, it has a smell to it, and people need to have a reality check that life and death is so precious, Doc. It's so
Yeah.
precious.
Yeah.
I don't know what this person's situation was or whatever, but to see something like that, it's not like the movies. See, in the movies, you see somebody get shot, the guy flying across the room and all this stuff. That's not the way it happened. When them guys get hit, they drop like a rock.
Yeah.
When that they drop like a 1,000 pound boulder then dropped on their head, and,
Right.
and, and they don't do none of that flying through the air and all this stuff.
Right.
And then I know the things that, and I'm speaking the fantasy things. You watch these cop shows, whatever, and everybody walking around, you hear the firearm click back. That's not that don't happen like that. I mean, you hear it click every time they move it around. It's clicking, and
Right.
there's so many things that, like I say, we brainwash into believing, and then when we see the reality of it, it becomes a shocking situation. It's like, I didn't know it was that much blood. I didn't know it was this and this and that. I didn't know it was this and that, and how serious this is. And
Yeah.
again, the suburbanites, people who have never experienced things. I would love to see more people do a ride along in a very, very rough neighborhood with the police department, put a vest on them, do a ride along to see the reality of what people have to go through in the city. And
Yeah.
you would think twice about, a certain race of people. You would think twice about judging people who want to defend themselves. You would think twice. You would think so many
Yeah.
different. Your
Yeah.
mind would change differently
Right.
because you wouldn't be up in here wanting to go and just treat people like garbage because of what you think,
Right.
and it's a reality base. Reality is something else, and a lot of people live in this fantasy world. And when I hear people speak on different things that I'm very familiar with, and I say to myself, "No, that's not right." And I used to get angry, but what I found out, T, is that you pull them to the side and educate them,
Yeah.
and if they take it, great. If they don't, shake the dust off your feet, move on. You
Yeah.
know,
Move on. Keep it
but
moving.
yeah, yeah. But see, there's a lot of ignorant people out here. There's a lot of ignorant people. It really is. And
Yeah.
again, my hat off to you, Gun Freak Nation, for what you are talking about and what you are educating. I think I've been watching now for about a year, 2 years, and I want to say the Gun Freak Nation. Uh, I've
Appreciate you,
never,
brother.
hey, much love. I've never met T face to face, but we've talked on the phone. But it don't matter. It don't matter. I got love for this brother because of what he's doing. His heart. If you watch this for the first time, his heart's in the right place. because he cares about people he has never even met face to face or seen, but
Right,
has
right, right, right,
concern
right, right.
about them being saved. Now, if that's not love, I don't know what is. He don't have to know you, and y'all got to look at that. The
Right.
love that he has for people that don't be a victim. If you ever get the opportunity, the person that has survived something, to talk to a victim of a rape or of
Yeah.
a robbery, and they gonna keep it real with you. Sometimes we need to talk to people like that, and then get an understanding of maybe something else we could do different, that we don't have to become a victim. You know, I mean,
Right.
it's real. It's real, bro. It's
Well,
real.
excellent. Jackson, I just some of the stuff that you just said about the smell and the seeing the bodies, and like you said, I remember one time you said you had to actually draw your gun on
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah,
Do you feel comfortable talking about that incident, or when you had to pull your gun? This
yeah,
was at the hospital too, right?
yeah. And I'll keep it discreetly. But
Okay.
we had got a call, you know, and we had this subject with a gun pointed at
Okay.
people, and went around, you know, and blocked them in, whatever, shut them down, and he didn't want to comply, and so you give the announcement, you know, put your do this, do that, do this, and it was seconds away of happening. I'll just say it like that. But he
Okay.
finally complied, and we didn't have no situation. But let me tell you something. There's a thing that's called tunnel vision, and the tunnel vision occurs where you don't see nothing else but the person you're dealing with. Somebody can be on the side of your face, slapping you in the face, kicking you in the shins, kicking you in the nuts. That you ain't gonna feel nothing.
Right.
And just in that split second, things could have went a different way. And to this day, no rhyme or reason why this cat did what he did. You know what I'm saying? And so we're seeing a lot of these things that we see out here now, where these guys are doing stuff, and it's no rhyme or reason why. It's just like, hey, I'm walking down the street, you get in my way, I'm gonna blow your head off, and it's like, what? I mean,
Yeah.
for what? For what, man? It don't make no sense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
And it just like, trying to understand it will probably drive us crazy. Because the mindset of that, it is something else, man. And we have to be ever so careful out here.
Yeah.
Be ever
Yeah.
so careful.
Right.
If you're watching this man's channel, and you're thinking about getting a firearm, what I suggest you do, go rent some firearms first so you can see what fits you. And then
Yeah.
once you rent it. Don't go running and buying stuff and you don't know nothing about it, and have somebody with you that's knowledgeable about it. Go rent it, and be careful, because a lot of times it may jam, because at a lot of gun ranges they don't clean them thoroughly like they should. But
Yeah.
look, do your YouTube research to see what works, what is reliable, what's not no junk. There's been a lot of talk about the SIG 320. Everybody likes SIG, but they've been having a lot of issues with that thing that's been discharging by itself without pulling the trigger.
Wow.
So get knowledgeable about get knowledgeable about what you are getting into. Do your research. Don't be so quick to buy something. And what happens is, a lot of times people have a bad experience, and then they want to just give it all up because they turn around and get something that's not going to meet what they need to do. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
there's a lot of different factors, and the main thing is being educated. YouTube a lot of stuff.
Exactly.
See what the reviews are going on and what they're doing with these things before you go and buy stuff. And then everybody's hands is different. Everybody's sight is different. Everybody's
Yeah.
body's different. And so,
That's good.
yeah, you need to find what fits you. So I could tell you this all. I could say Block 19. What I may not fit you. You may not need SIG 365 XL or something, because it's smaller. Your hands may be a little midgety hands or something. You can't
Right.
you
Right.
can't
Right.
hold
Right.
on.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's all a thing of to each person. But the main thing is, the bottom line is it reliable? Will it, every
Yeah.
time you pull the trigger, is it going to work? That's what you want to do. You
That's
want to
what
have it
it
reliable. You don't
all
want no
comes
junk.
down to. You got to make sure it's reliable because you're putting your life on the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
You
sir.
banking on it
Yes,
with
sir.
your life. You don't want nothing that's going to hang up on you when you need it the most.
Right.
It's got to go bang. You got to make
Right.
sure it go bang every time you pull that trigger. And then
Right.
you got to train. That's the
That's
key
right.
thing to it. You have to train. And another important thing too is stay trained and stay polished, but also train mentally,
Yeah.
because I always preach this. The most dangerous person is the person that's done let their emotions get the better of them. No matter what the situation is,
Right.
do your best
Right.
to remain calm. You know what I'm saying? To try your best to remain calm, because if you let somebody get the best of you and get you worked all up and you just so fucking angry you ain't thinking straight,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
tend to
Right.
do
Right.
crazy shit and you act off of your emotions. And a lot of people is in the cemetery right now or in prison right now because they let a lot of good people are they had good
Right.
intentions
Right.
are
Right.
dead or either in jail, in prison right now. So no matter what the circumstances be, don't never let nobody really get underneath your skin and break your cool to the point to where you don't
Right.
snap and did something
Right.
crazy, and now you know you in jail now. I remember it was something that happened a few months ago, like back in November, man. Not too far from me, neighbors into it.
Okay.
Neighbors into it. Something that happened a whole year prior, and it finally boiled down to one of the neighbors pulling a gun and shooting the other neighbor because he was still mad at an incident that happened a whole year before that, where Amazon delivered the to the wrong address and delivered it to the neighbors, and the neighbor kept it, and tension had built up over that, and they kept getting into it, and it finally just boiled over to one of the neighbors, shot one of the other ones and killed the guy. Now I know for a fact right now he's in jail,
Right.
and he probably
Right.
he regretting that now. And let
Right.
me let me bring up another story. Last July, you probably saw this on the news when I forget what street it was, but it was off of Plymouth, right here on the west side, not about 10 minutes away from where I live. They had a house party. You know how they had the backyard parties in the D?
Right. Right. Right.
And the guy got mad because somebody blocked his driveway.
Remember that.
Yeah. And what
Yeah.
he do? Took his gun, I think he had an AR, and just started spraying the whole party,
Yep.
shooting at everybody. He killed two people.
Mm-hmm.
Two. All because somebody blocked his driveway. They blocked my driveway last summer. When they had that wild party, they had a wild party where it was teenagers took over the whole end of the block.
You
About
videotape. I
200
remember.
of them. Yeah, 300 of them.
Yeah.
I didn't go out there acting a fool because I said, you know what? I ain't gonna make no big stink about it. I ain't got to go nowhere. So I'm not gonna go out there bitching and stuff, man. I try to avoid the type of person I am. I try to avoid confrontation. But you better believe if you try to come up in my home and put
Right.
a home invasion on me, I'm gonna send your stinking ass to Funky Town. You gonna be Funky Town bound. You come messing with me or mine. Other than that, I'm not in the streets. I'm not messing with people. I'm minding my own business, trying to
Right.
live a
Right.
righteous life. Just
Right.
being me. Crazy old me. I'm just being me. But can we even live a peaceful life when we got these savages out here? You can't even go to the gas stations or go out in the world no more without these savages, picking with you. And that's why I say, like, I hate this incident. Like, you already know what it's like when it might be a summer a night and we trying to just drive to get back home. And you got
Right.
these savages got their car in the middle of the street talking to somebody, and
Yep.
they taking their time moving out the way when they could have moved on the side, but they choose to stay in their car in the middle of the street to block traffic. And
Yep.
if you blow your horn,
Don't
you
challenge them.
already know what time it is. It's gonna escalate. and they're gonna stay there
Okay.
even longer. That's the type of shit that I'm telling you got to deal with these damn savages. That's
Yep.
why I say sometimes you got to take the high road and just back the fuck around and turn around. Because
Yeah, you got to do
it
something.
ain't worth you
Yeah.
losing your freedom at the end of the day. None of them
Hmm.
cocky ass savages out there. It's worth you losing your freedom.
Right.
Losing from
Right.
I
Right.
we got families we gotta take care of and support and take care of. So it's not, don't let nobody bring you down to their level to whether you ready to lose everything and go to prison because you don't, they don't made you snap. So keep your cool. But if they try to come up in your house, that's self-defense all day. And the
True.
sad
True.
thing is, in some cases, man, the politicians, you got the street savages, and then you got the politician savages because they more pro savages nowadays than they are, than law abiding citizens.
And that's true. We have to be careful because remember, negativity is what a lot of things are fed off of today. So a negative story will run quicker before a story will run about something positive about a young man going to college or something like that.
Yep.
And
Right.
and and, and
Yep.
it's, or somebody giving their life to Jesus. I'm just keeping it real. And nobody don't want to hear that. They want to see something devastating going on, and then they'll forget about that, and then we go on to something else tomorrow. Because there's a lot, like I said, a lot of different things that people have forgotten about. And that's why I mentioned when I first started talking about 1997, North Hollywood. We
Yep.
forgot about Malice Green. We didn't forget about these different things have happened to. We go on to what's the next one going to be tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
we forget about the narrative and stuff because we are so brainwashed that our in society that and they got us like that, but we fall for it every time. We fall for it, and people come up to me sometimes and say, "Hey Jack, did you hear what?" I said no because I don't try to. I know about it, but I don't try to let it saturate me because I don't want to be like everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it's
Right.
good to know about the danger of it, but
Yeah.
but to be saturated with this situation, because like I say, people say, "Do you remember?" Yeah, I remember. But what good is it gonna do? This person dead and gone. And the thing of it is now we have to educate people so that we don't have another victim and we can stop. The stories they
Yeah.
need to be playing, they need to play more stories of the good guy, with a CPL holder that shut down a savage. You'll see them
Yeah.
they like this. And they don't play them stories like they used to do because it's not their narrative or what they want to push. They want to
Right.
push the narrative part. But see what that proves and shows is that a good guy with a firearm, a law-abiding citizen, shuts some stuff down. And it does. It does. But you'll see them every now and then, but they'll blow up. Well, same thing with the story with the Michigan State shooter, and
Yeah.
same situation. That situation was this guy was a felon with a firearm,
Yep.
and his bond was set so low that he ended up getting out when he should have been still incarcerated, and that stuff wouldn't have happened. You know,
Right.
and,
Right.
and so again, they don't tell you the whole full story, but,
Yeah.
but the narrative is that now they using the terminology mass shooting. So, but watch
Mm.
this. We have mass shootings in the city of Detroit every day, if you want to call it that. But they'll put that out there, and the first thing that people think of an AR-15. Oh, that
Yep.
means assault rifle. No, that
Right.
means armor light. See, I'm
Yeah.
educated because there's a narrative played that they make these different words, and there's no such thing that was it as assault rifle. They made that narrative. It was called
Yep.
it's called armor light, not
Right.
assault rifle. And
Right.
so
Right. Right.
these are the things that are played and pushed in people's minds. They think that, oh, that's what that is. So if I take a Ruger 1022 and it's wood stock, now you know what I'm talking about, and
Right.
lay it on the table with a squirrel
Mm.
gun, and
Right.
then all of a sudden I change and make it synthetic stock. Now, is it an assault rifle? I mean, this is all the stuff that
Exactly.
people
You
fall
right.
for.
You
So
right.
I can lay that Mini 14 on the table with that 1022. Now, but people will put the AR over here. They'll look at the AR, but they won't pay attention to the Mini 14 with the wooden stock because the narrative is it's got to be that dark black rifle. That.
Yeah.
And that's a narrative
That
they play, man.
evil
It's a
wife
mind
was
game.
evil. It looked like something that should be in a war zone or something. You know, it's
Right,
like,
right, right, right,
you
right,
know,
right,
it is what it is. Like I say, I'll go back to it. It's too many on the street right now. Savages done got their hands on them. It's in their arsenal right now. And if they got it, then guess what? I want it. And if you can call it a weapon of war, all you want to. But
See,
when I
well,
go out in these streets, it could be like a war zone. You
that's
know what
right.
I'm
It
saying?
is
It's like
urban
me in
war
a,
zone.
so
Yes,
I just don't, I'm just sick and tired of these so-called elite anti-gunners that think they know what's best for
right.
us. They can go to hell. I really don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna keep my guns, the ones I love. I'm gonna keep them. I'm ready for whatever the savages throw my way. And I'm just right now. I'm trying to be peaceful, and I am a peaceful person.
Right,
But
right,
you know,
right,
I've had people, threaten me. I know where you live and I saw your address on your line. Well, you know what, motherfucker? I smell your stinking ass before I see you. And I'll be laying in wait for your
right,
ass to
right,
send you on a one-way goddamn trip to Funky Town. You hear me?
right,
So
right,
you
right,
can
right,
make the
right, right,
mistake
right,
of your life. Because trust me, I'm not trying to go for bad. I'm not no tough guy or nothing.
right,
But
right,
I will defend my family and I will defend my life.
right,
So don't ever
right,
try to test me or play with me or whatever. That'll be the A. You'll find out the hard way, brother. Because I'm
right,
not fucking around with you. You mess with me or mine. And I'm glad that the person that's in your life, the person handled business
yeah,
and she didn't have to send them damn savages to Funky Town. You hear me? And that's why I'm so happy that, you
right,
know, that she was already trained
mm-hmm.
and ready. You know what I'm saying? And I credit that with you, brother. And that's how I am with my son. If I'm not
Yeah,
here, he know what to do. He know how to handle business. I remember
right,
not too long ago, baby. Remember we was all the way on the other side of town, and somebody, a strange guy that looked weird to me that I did not know, came knocking on my door. I saw him through my ring. I saw him through the ring camera. I said, "Who the hell is this?" I said, "Who is this?" He didn't say nothing. He had a hoodie on. It was nice that day. It didn't warrant you to have. I just didn't trust it. So I immediately called my son. I said, "Son, go ahead and get it ready. If he come through that door, send his ass to Funky Town. Don't ask
right,
no questions.
right,
Send his ass to Funky Town. If he make
right,
entry into that door or through a window, send his ass to Funky Town. Then ask the questions later. You know what I'm saying? We not here to play. We just trying to live in peace and live our righteous
right.
lives and
That's
go on
right.
about
That's
our
right.
business. But it's
That's
like
right.
we're being attacked by these savages and we being attacked by these anti-gun politicians that
Yeah.
I still don't get their logic. I really don't. I still don't get their logic. But you know what, Action Jackson, I don't want to take, whenever you ready. I don't want, we don't been here for over an hour, so I don't want to take up your time, brother.
Right.
I appreciate you and the life experiences you have shared with Gun Freak Nation that you have shared with me. I
Right.
always enjoy, our phone calls, our text messages. You always
Right.
keep in touch
Right.
with
Right.
me and,
Right. Right.
check in on me and likewise. And I remember you was there when my channel head got took.
It,
You know what
it,
I'm
it
saying? That
bothered me.
shit was
It
horrible when
bothered me.
that hacker got me, and
Yeah.
it won't happen again. You know what I'm saying? Through my carelessness, it won't happen again. But I remember you and it was you. What's up, James Walker,
James. Yep.
25/7.
Yep.
A lot of forgive me if I'm forgetting leaving somebody out, but a lot of people came to my defense and was there for me, and I'll never forget it. It's like I it ain't me. This Godfrey Nation ain't about me.
Everybody. It's
It's
all of
about
us.
everybody. We
Yeah. We
we
family.
we
Yes.
we a family, and
Yes, sir.
we are like-minded. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes, sir.
all we want to do, call it as whatever. But all we want to do at the end of the day is just exercise our Second Amendment rights, and we should have the right to own whatever that we want, as long as we
Okay.
can afford
Okay.
it, to be able to protect our lives. If we got our CPLs, our license to carry, protect our lives out there in the street.
Right.
Look at the
Right.
Cash App founder. He didn't believe in that necessarily, and he paid for it with his life. Because
Right.
I guarantee you, if he would have had a firearm, if he would have had a pistol on him, he could have got that savage off of him real fast. Because he got stabbed to death. So it definitely would have turned out different if he would have had a gun. He probably wished he would have had a gun, or somebody nearby would have had a gun to intervene. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
because he advocated for gun control, obviously I don't want to dive too deep in it because I don't know how extreme he was. But you see what it got him, but not having it.
It didn't
But I,
help his
I got one more
situation.
question for you, brother Jackson. The situation. I
Yes,
need your opinion on it, brother. That
go
took
for it.
place a
Okay.
couple of nights ago in
Okay.
in Tennessee when they expelled the two brothers out of that office because they didn't like a lot of people. We got two. I touched on this earlier. I said, you know what? Of course, I'm pro Second Amendment. They was trying to get these extreme gun control bills passed. I said they didn't. In my opinion, they didn't kick them out. There wasn't no racism. That's media trying to
Yeah.
inject racism
Yeah.
into it for a storyline, for a narrative. Bullshit. They
Right.
got rid of their asses because they was trying to come up with these corny ass gun control bills and I say rightfully so. I would have booted their asses out too. But I just want to know, what was your opinion on it, Action Jackson? What was your opinion on that situation?
Let me lay it to you like this. You have a sleeping giant, right? You have a sleeping giant that isn't aware if somebody's stabbing him, hitting him, or doing things because he's in a deep coma, right? Coma state. But when the sleeping giant is awakened, the sleeping giant is now fully aware and now able to stomp the hell out of some stuff because it's fully aware. People becoming aware of different
Yeah,
things. And and,
right.
and, and so I say to the anti-gun people that are in a comatose state of a sleeping giant, you know, wake up, wake up. Which
Yeah,
one are you gonna be? But see,
right.
somebody woke up and said, "Oh, we gotta get these fools out of here," and so that's what that was. The sleeper giant was awoke. Cause see, the thing, those same people have family members that need to be protected. Them same, and they're being affected by it too. And so let me just tell you, loved one's gonna be a victim because you support something stupid like that.
Right. Right.
No, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. The sleeping
Yeah.
giant has awoken, and it's
Yes.
awakening up. So far, it has awakened up 23 different states that I know of right now that has a constitute. Was it constitute? How do they say respiratory? I don't know the exact terminology, but where it's permitless carry, which is what the Second Amendment is. The Second
Right.
Amendment is the right to bear arms. But see, here's the other trick with that. It got you paying money for a permit that you never really have to pay because
Right.
of what the Second Amendment says. But
Right.
again, because of being brainwashed and believing, I understand about making money. But at the same time, what the Second Amendment states is that the right to bear arms, and it
Yeah.
doesn't tell you you can't bear this, you can't bear that. It said for a tyrannical government.
Right.
So when that comes down later in the line, and throwing stuff together, but you have to be ever so careful and for what it says, and it's too late. They can't change that. It says what it is,
Yeah.
and like I said, sleeping giant is awakening all over the United States. It's awakening now, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and
Right.
it's time out for stuff. My thing is I just love to have a choice if they decide they want to be safe or not. They want to have their own safety net. That's where I'm at. But yeah, that's what I think about that. The sleeping giant awoke, brother. He
Yeah.
woke up and
Right.
it tearing some
Right.
stuff up. It's
Yeah.
like Godzilla, boom, boom, boom.
Right,
tearing
right,
some
right.
stuff up. You
Well,
know,
guess what I did earlier, Action Jackson, right before the podcast. I went out and got me a new brace for the new Visca Micro Draco that I got, because they
okay,
don't let you shoot it at Encore without without a brace. So
right.
I want to test it out, see what's going on with it, and the ATF, man, they can you know they can go to hell. I wanted to say something else, but your daughter. You said your daughter is
No,
nearby,
no,
so I'm gonna
no,
keep.
no,
I'm gonna
no,
keep.
no, no
I'm
worries.
gonna keep
It's
it
okay.
PG.
It's okay. They can't hear because I got these in. So you good. Say what you got to say. Keep it real. Keep it
Well,
100.
they can suck a big fat one for all I care. The ATF, you know what I'm saying? So I went and got me a brace, the SBM 47, that I'm going to attach
Good for you.
to the newest Draco that I got, and I'm gonna get it to the range because it's a lot of new guns. I got about 5 guns within the last 2 weeks, and I haven't shot them yet. So I got to get them. The
Yeah.
firearm shotgun. I have to go to a range that allow you to take firearms, but both for the HK 22s, I got to get that to the range. I've shot that one before because I had it before back in 2015. I had the carbine before. I gotta shoot the Draco 9S. Man, I don't lost track of them. I gotta do the new Draco, the new Micro Draco, and there's a bunch of other ones that I gotta just take to the range. Maybe me and my nephew, and we can link up too one day too. And, you know
I
about
want to do that.
Encore, right?
Yeah, it's right off of 96 freeway, right off
Yeah,
the service out there.
yeah. We have to link
And
up, brother. What's your
you know,
favorite gun that's in your arsenal? I mean, if you want to put it out there. I ain't trying to dive too
oh man,
deep into your personals.
but watch this. They all sexy, man. I say it like this, and I say it like I got Black Beauty, I got the Tan Beauty, and when she spit, she spit. You know what I'm saying? When
Ooh.
I pull her, she gonna spit. I say it like that because and I'm saying it to the fact is because I don't want to offend nobody because I understand you got Glock people, you got Smith people, you got
Yeah,
C Scorpion people. Let me tell
right,
you, people,
right.
people, 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 people. Yes, you got your favorite, but will it work at the end of the day? Will it work every time to go bang, bang, bang? That's
Yeah,
what you want to do. Is it gonna work? We
yeah,
could get caught up on something. We could have an argument, about this gun and that gun and this gun. Let
right.
me tell you with Glock. Generation 3 go work like Gen 4. Okay, so all you did was just change the grips on it. Now you
Yeah,
did put an optic on the Gen 5 and all. It's a Glock. It's gonna
yeah,
work. It's gonna
right.
send somebody to fuck. You think that idiot's gonna try to look at you and say what he got shot with? No. No, you're gonna
Yeah,
send his
you're
you're gonna
right,
send his you're gonna send his ass to funky town. It's gonna work for you. Am I right?
right,
So
right.
he goes, oh, I got shot with a Glock. Oh, I got shot with a CZ or a Zastava.
Right.
He ain't gonna say none of that. He
He
ain't
ain't gonna
gonna
give
know.
a damn.
No.
Right.
He get
Oh,
shot with a high point.
one more thing I want to touch on.
Go for it, my brother.
You got two different camps. You got some people that treat the 22 long rifle as if it's nothing more than a BB gun, and they always tell the same story that the guy shot the savage, and emptied the damn mag into him with the 22 long rifle, and the savage ran up on him and still beat his ass, pistol whipped him with his own gun. Then you got the
What?
other people on
Yeah.
the other side that say 22. It's the same diameter as a 5.56, and if you get hit by one, it's gonna be bouncing around inside your body and just tear you up. So I mean, what is your take on that? Because you told me something the other week. You told me something about I don't know if you
It's
want to touch on that, but what's your opinion on that 22 long rifle? Because I know I wouldn't want to get shot by it.
well. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. T. It's all about shot placement.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You have to look at when is it going to take effect. Reason why I say that, I go back to my old job. Had a young man walked in, looked normal and everything, and walked up to the registry and said he'd been shot in the head. He talking, he walked in and everything. He got shot with a 22. Well, about 3 days later, he's on a vent. A week later, he dead. Now, let's go back and look at this.
Wow.
If you if this don't is the round is not effective to do what it needs to do immediately. That person has time to return fire on you and do different things. You know,
Yeah.
shot placement is so I was just watching into a Marine that's on YouTube the other day. He was talking about the AR-15 and the 7.62, and he says he prefers the 7.62, and people get upset when he said it. Reason being because keep in mind the AR-15 is basically a almost like a 22 on steroids. It has more powder. It's a bigger round. But as he stated, he said he shot two where they were terrorists, wherever the camp he was in, and he shot this young kid with a gun with an AK, and he shot him twice, and he wobbled, but he didn't. He still didn't take him down. This is with a AR-15 round. It took him a minute for it to take effect because of shot placement. So
Mm.
he said that he put another round in him, and he finally went down, and he finally start. It took him a while to bleed out. He said there's another guy that he shot 4 times, and the guy was already dead, but he's pulling bullets out of his chest. But again,
Wow.
it's all about
Hey.
placement to shut down different things. Trust me, I know. I used to hunt a lot with my dad,
Uh,
and real quick, I shot a a deer while he was running with a 870 Remington, and he was running 30 yards away from me with no scope on, nothing. I hit him while he was running, and hit him in the shoulder. He spun 180 degrees, slid, and still tried to get up. Now I hit him with a slug.
mm,
Now, what shut him down was that the slug broke his leg. Had it not broken his leg, he would have got up and ran.
right.
Okay, that was
Right.
now that was my first deer I killed, 2010. It was an 8 point. Now, humans are the same way, but shot another deer out of a tree stand with a 44 Magnum. It took off and ran. Well, no, I dropped her. She laid there about 30 yards out. She was
Mm.
running. I shot her with a 44 Magnum. Missed her on the first 4 shots, hit her on the fifth one. Because I'm boom, boom, boom. She dropped her. She laid there. I said, okay, I'll let her bleed out. Man, she got up and shook it off. It's all about shot placement, and but the question is, you know, when you're placing those shots, is it going to be effective to do what it needs to do to get that person up off of you? The whole bottom
Right.
line is you want to stop the threat.
Yep.
Everybody wants to argue back and forth about a 9 millimeter 40 cal. I just seen so many guys come through shot. We had a man. There's so many stories. We had a dude. It was about 300 pounds. It was shot with a nine. He was so fat that when they brought him in, they were trying to find out where the bullet went in at, and he was so fat that the little round went into his back, and he was already dead. But it hit that
Mm.
lung and dropped him. They found him in the field, and they were trying to find out where the wound was to work on him. He's already gone because the round just went up in there and danced around in him, but it hit the right point it needed to do. Just one shot. They found him in the field with just shorts on, keys in his hand, no shoes or socks on, lay stretched out. And it's all about shot placement. But honestly, if I would say 22, why not 22 Magnum? See,
Yeah.
ain't nobody talk about 22 Magnum,
Right.
and I
Right.
wouldn't want to get hit behind that thing. And you
Right.
want to do 22 because they got a couple revolvers out here now that can interchange the cylinder and make a 22 long rifle or make a 22 Magnum. And the
Okay.
Diamondback has one, and I think Ruger has one. The only
Okay.
thing with the Ruger is only single action, and the Diamondback is double action. It's only $200 gun. I
Right.
mean,
You know
but
what?
again, I would
Let me
prefer
bring
Magnum.
up right the 22 Magnum. I once owned, and I kind of regret I let it go. But I had two guns that was chambered in 22 Magnum. That was that I had the pistol, the Kel-Tec PMR 30,
Yeah,
and I had the Kel-Tec CMR 30, and they both shared the same mag. It was you could take the
okay.
PMR and put it in the CMR. They was the mag compatibility. They was
Interchangeable,
compatible.
interchangeable.
Yep. And I ended up, I don't know why I did it, but I ended up trading both of those for the Kel-Tec RDB. And I
Okay.
only got it because that was like my first bullpup, and it was similar to the Savoy. So once I got my hands on the actual Tavor, I ended up selling the RDB, which in my opinion shot a little bit better, a little bit more smoother than the Tavor. You
Oh,
know, yeah, it was just a more smoother shooting, rifle, But
did I
yeah, that
answer that correctly?
ain't no joke.
Did I answer that pretty good for you? I mean,
Oh
it's all
yeah,
about shot put. Okay, okay.
yeah, you sure did. Well, you know what, Action Jackson? Brother, we got to do this again. I appreciate it. And I have to do this again, go
Okay.
live and do the podcast. And like I said, we didn't do this one through StreamYard. We did it through YouTube on the YouTube platform, and everything
Mm.
looked A1 to me. And at one point we had almost like 90 some people up in here, and we're gonna get more views on the replay. But brother,
Right, right, right.
happy Easter to you, and I really, really appreciate you and thank you for contributing to this podcast. Thank you for spreading your words of wisdom. I really appreciate it. And, I got to salute you, brother. Thank you.
And salute to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And
You
it's been
already
an
know.
honor. It's been an honor to be with Gun Free Nation and to be and you allowing me to come on your podcast to a little wisdom and knowledge. And let's keep doing this thing with each other.
Yes,
If there's any brothers and sisters out here who have a life experience or something, not even that, or something that you can share that somebody don't know about, that
right.
somebody needs to. I see you, WR. You're welcome. But just please share the information. Make the information change people's mindsets out here. To quit
Yeah.
being so anti-gun.
Mhm.
That's the objective.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
change the anti-gun
Right.
person, or even if they don't want to have a firearm, to change their mindset towards us that we are law-abiding people.
Yeah. We law abiding people, law
Yeah,
abiding
yeah,
citizens.
yeah. Right, right. So I'm not gonna hold you. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I got some
Like,
things I
like,
got to
like
do.
I say, you got so many people that just want, and I'm very pro law enforcement. In my opinion, they
Yeah.
hero. You got some dicks in every general, whatever job or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All walks of life, you're gonna have assholes. But
Right, right.
people put on their uniforms and they don't know whether they're gonna make it back home or not, but they still put on their uniforms and they wear that badge, and I applaud them and I salute them, because they put their
Same
life
here.
on. It's just
Same
that
here.
I love them, they heroes, but at the same time, they're not gonna be there in time if a savage kicking your door or whatever. They're not going. You can't rely on them. You know what I'm saying? You have to
Right.
rely on yourself. You got to be the first responder. So you got to think that you got to get that. I'll just call 911 and magically they there. They Johnny on the spot. It don't work that way. So just open up your mind, man, and just see it for yourself. Like if you on the fence about getting a firearm, go ahead and get it, because that can, at the end of the day, with the proper training, that can save your life. It can make a difference. Because police
Right.
stay a
Right.
minute,
Right.
and in some cases, all seconds matter. If that catch-up guy would have had a gun on him, he'd be here right now, because he could have
Yeah.
said that shit was the funky time. But
Right.
brother,
Right.
before
Right.
I end this podcast, you got any last words you got to say to Gun Freak Nation, brother?
Hey, 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 love it. Every one of you all. Please be safe out here and continue to get the word out of T Electric's message. Let it spread, let it prosper, let it go high, let it move, let it shake some stuff, man. Let it push this thing so that we can get education out here to what people need to know. They love all y'all.
Yeah. Appreciate you, brother. Action Jackson, do you have content on your channel?
No, no, I don't even, man, I don't even have a channel. I just joined you because I love hearing you speak. I don't,
I was about to ask people to go and subscribe to your channel, but
not yet. I kind of keep a down low. I watch all y'all. And it's educational, and I get excited when I see a lot of y'all, saying what you're saying, man. I think at the time when I first watched you, I had COVID, and it uplifted me. And I said, man, this brother's deep. After this brother is rolling with this stuff,
Oh
and
man.
I was watching you, and I was watching another one, Yoki. I don't know if you know, let's watch Yoki, the female down in
Yeah.
Florida, and
Right.
she's out cold. Her channel's a little different. She does more reviews. She does the hog hunts and all that. But
Yeah.
you two, the guys I watch, and then you introduced me to Johnny Snow, and then you introduced me also to the Alert Zone, which
Yeah.
I love. And I said, wow, these, everybody's hitting a certain note, but the bottom line is we all come together, have the same type of mindset, what we're trying to do to get the word out, and that's the key.
Right.
That's the key.
Right.
You know.
Right. Well, thank you, brother. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your life stories and experiences. And you blessed us tonight. Just your presence and just your life experience. You blessed Gun Freak Nation, with valuable information and just, inspiration, man. Information and inspiration. So once again, I gotta salute you, X and Jackson.
Hey,
And
hey, bro.
we gotta link up and hit that range. And maybe we can link up and like do dinner like I did with James Walker from the Alert Zone one day soon. Cause you right here in
Okay.
Michigan, brother.
Yes,
So
yes, sir. Yes,
no
sir. Yes,
excuses
sir.
for us not to link up. So we gotta do that one day. But you know what? It's been a blast. God Freak Nation, I love y'all. I salute and appreciate every single one of y'all that dropped in. Shout out to everybody in Gun Freak Nation. I love y'all. And brother, you have a blessed night. I appreciate you, brother.
You all too. God bless y'all, man. Stay safe, please. We'll talk again.
Likewise, my brother.
All right.
Salute, brother. All right, now you
All right.
have a good one.
You too.
Yep. All right, now.